Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. I started working with a new client the other day. It's a company, and a couple of the guys on the team said, "We're really struggling with time management. Can you help us with that?" And I laughed because I do. Time management, somebody says they have time management issues. To me, it is usually code for there's some things I really like to do or I don't mind doing, and I can always find time to do that. But there's some things I really don't like doing, and it's amazing. I can't ever find the time to do those things. And I laugh at myself over this because sometimes I'm too busy to do important shit, but I can almost always find an hour for lunch. So I fall victim to this as well. And it takes discipline, consistency to break out of this habit. So what do you do all day, right? If you're busy, what are you doing all day? So I want to introduce you to the concept of pay time versus no pay time, right? So pay time activities are those things that you do that generate and bring new money in the door, right? That bring new sales, new revenue in the door. Not the stuff that's already coming in the door. It's new revenue in the door. So, for example, we're busy all day and we're doing stuff to help our customers, help our clients. We're doing the service we're supposed to do, right? We are talking to our colleagues, we're doing research, we are answering emails, we're going to meetings, doing all this kind of stuff, which maybe a lot of that stuff is important. And maybe a lot of that stuff feels urgent. If you feel like I'm leading you towards the Covey quadrants or the Eisenhower quadrants, you're exactly right, I am. There's a whole lot of stuff we do every day, and a lot of it needs to be done, but it doesn't bring new money in the door. So we can leave at the end of the day and say, shit, I was busy all day, but I really didn't do anything to grow my business. And you can get into that habit and let it go on for days and days and weeks and months. And the problem is sometimes you won't feel the results of your lack of pay time activity until months down the road when it takes a really long time to ramp back up again. So let's talk about the things that are pay time activities that you need to spend time on at least every week, but probably every day. So in the Eisenhower quadrants thing, quadrant 2 are things that are important, but not urgent. In other words, if you don't do them, nothing happens immediately. Think about it like exercise. You can skip the gym for a week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, and maybe your weight on the scale doesn't change. Maybe you don't really feel the effects of it, but if you stop going and it's 3 months from now or 6 months from now, you lose muscle mass. If you're my age, you can lose some bone strength. You start to put on weight, you get a little weak in the middle, right? That's what happens over the long term, but it's very gradual. It's important, but it's not urgent. Well, ironically enough, the stuff that's important but not urgent are the things that if you do them anyway will make the biggest difference. And if you don't do them will lead to your failure ultimately. So let's talk about what those things are. Important, not urgent. Prospecting. Picking up the phone and calling people who have not yet given you money. Networking with a purpose, where you go out to a networking event or you go out in public and you start asking people, hey, what do you do? And figure out if there's a business reason you should get together. It is reaching out to strategic alliances, people who sell to the same kind of people that you do, and seeing if there's a way you can help each other, right? If you can refer each other into each other's clients, right? Those kind of people can make, if the two people get together and they're both givers and they're both open to the idea of helping somebody else first, you could make each other a hell of a lot of money. So that's a very valuable activity. Another thing that is important but not urgent is planning. What are you doing? Do you know where you're going? What does your plan look like? Do you need to refine that? The plan that you made a month ago or a quarter ago, is that still relevant? Will it still, now that you've tested it, is it taking the direction you want to go? Training is another thing. Important, but not urgent. This is, I will say, I'll feather my own nest here. It's sales training. Very important, but not urgent. You can put it off. Product knowledge, product training, that kind of stuff. Important, but not urgent. Things that you need to do, that you ought to put as a priority. Those things are all, I'm going to call them pay time. Those are things that bring new money in the door. Now, here are things that are not pay time. Meeting with customers you already have to solve problems. This is, most meetings are no pay time. They're crap. It's a waste of time. Any kind of distractions, social media, lunch without a business purpose. Quite frankly, the time driving to a customer is no pay time. If you go out to a networking event, but really all you're doing is going to drink free beer and eat free shrimp, that is no pay time. If you're honest with yourself, if you track the amount of time you spend every day or every week on the things that you're doing that can bring new money in the door. Remember, we talked about this. Prospecting, networking, asking for referrals, talking to your existing clients about expanding the products that they're buying from you. All that is pay time, as is taking care of yourself, as is planning. Do those things. And right now, if you measure, and you're doing that for, call it 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week, if you go from 5 to 10 hours a week, add one more hour of that per day, in theory, and I think probably in reality, your income could double. I'm only talking about adding one extra hour per day. Where would that time come from? Turn off Facebook when you're in the damn office. Quit reading the damn newspaper. When you're working, close your door. When you're making prospecting calls, put a sign on your door or have a little sign you can hold up to say, please don't bother me until 11 a.m. Block time to do the prospecting. Block the time to do the stuff that makes you money. That still, if you only work 8 hours a day, that still leaves you 6 hours a day to answer emails, handle customer situations, put out fires, go to stupid meetings, answer your email. But block off 2 hours a day to do the shit that brings new money in the door. You will find, and if you're doing 2, see if you can go to 3. If you're doing 1, go to 2. If you figure out you're doing 10 minutes, work your way to get to 30 minutes and then an hour. Gradual increases over long periods of time compounds. It's amazing. Walker McKay with No BS Sales. I've got a mini course called 7 Sales Mistakes that can share with you some problems, some mistakes you may be making, and how to fix them. Thanks for listening. Share this with somebody else who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.